Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you for joining me for another video. So the boring bit, I hate doing this, it makes me sound so cheesy. But if you like my content, please remember to hit subscribe. It's completely free to subscribe. You can subscribe to as many YouTube channels as you like. Please hit the notification bell because that will tell you when I post, because as most of you know, I'm a little bit sporadic. And then also if you could hit the like button. This is so YouTube knows that you like the video and then they will continue to share it with other like-minded people. So the boring bit out of the way, I've got a funny photograph to show you. I'm obsessed at the moment, you might have noticed, with these little headbands. They're only tiny little things. They're from Claire's Accessories, so super cheap. No, I'm not in affiliation with Claire's Accessories, but I love them. And as most of you know, I love my costume jewellery. I don't wear expensive stuff. But I used to wear headbands as a kid and they always used to be so thick. They used to make your ears stick out, right? And you'd look like a little mouse. And these ones, they don't. They're perfect if you've got tiny little ears like me. But check that out. Yeah, my stepmom found that. Yeah, wasn't that adorable? Yeah, look at those little ears sticking out. Those headbands were gigantic when we were a kid. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of a laugh and a share. So moving on, the royal video. There's lots of festive stuff going on with the royal family. This is an emotional roller coaster of a video. Of course, we've got Harry in it with his court case, so you're going to have a little bit of a what? Ah! We've got some Christmas stuff with the Queen and some lovely, adorable children, which you might need your hanky for. And then we've also got a charity fundraiser, which I'm going to start with, and that was Prince William is not doing the fundraiser himself, but he went to surprise a mum on a mission and gave her the biggest hug. The surprise on Emma Webb's face. She looks at him and it doesn't click, and then it does. I think this is absolutely magical. Emma is doing an incredible epic 160-mile journey all the way from Chepstow in Wales to London on foot across 19 days with the horse that she is towing alongside her to raise awareness and funds for suicide prevention. She chose to do this as her daughter Brodie sadly took her own life at just 16 years old back in 2020. She is pulling, as I said, the huge resin horse behind her for the journey. As one, it attracts a lot of attention, so there's lots of people asking her what she's doing. This of course gives her more coverage on social media. More coverage means hopefully more donations coming in for the cause. This is also the website. I made a donation directly through the website, which goes to their Just Giving page if you wanted to donate. Being noticed has also worked in Emma's favour several times when she's run into difficulties, because some places, I think she was trying to navigate a canal, and it's not easy to be towing a great big horse. So because lots of people understand what she's doing, especially more now than ever that Prince William came along and surprised her, that they have stopped to give her help, to help her on her journey. So I think that's absolutely heartwarming, and it was lovely of Prince William. It wasn't planned, it wasn't on the royal rota. This is something that he did himself and turned up to surprise her, and then walked with her for a further 25 minutes learning about her journey. Just when you think you can't love Prince William anymore, he goes and does something like that, and because he did, social media absolutely lit up, and she has already reached her target, and I hope that she gets many more donations. Now, in something that's going to make you laugh, this is actually another YouTuber. Well, let's talk about both of them actually. Trying to keep it in. Lady Colin Campbell, you know, another YouTuber, she's very opinionated. Well, Meghan really pushed her buttons recently. I cannot play the clip for you, but you should really go watch. She unleashes the holy fires from hell on Meghan. She was so angry with her in a rant, it actually made this hashtag trend. It was a note to self: never ever, whatever you do, upset Lady C. So definitely worth a watch. Now, the other YouTuber I was going to speak about is HG Tudor. He's made a really good point in his most recent video to do with Meghan and her set up paparazzi car park stroll that we know that she loves to do now. What with the Christmas Carol concert being filmed tonight, I'm sure that we'll see another car park photograph be released, or they might decide to release their family photograph. We'll see the backs of Lily and Archie's heads in some sort of not very artistic black and white photograph. But what HG Tudor drew attention to was the clip and the photographs that were released. The photographs obviously were Meghan showing off the bracelet. As I said, I think she was doing that to King Charles rather than showing any sort of support. It was ha ha ha, I've won. But the video clip that was also released, where it was filmed all the way back, Meghan doesn't have her hands up. In fact, the bodyguard is stood to the right hand side of her, and Meghan doesn't raise her hands once until she gets into that car. So she's filmed this pap stroll, or done the pap stroll multiple times to get the correct shots that she wants. And I'd love if someone actually filmed her doing one of these. You know, someone's up in an office going, what is that woman doing? I know who that is, and releases that. That would be gold, wouldn't it? But you just think, oh, the cringe factor that Meghan exercises. I really do not know how Ari Emanuel is going to keep her on as a client. There's already lots of talks that because Meghan is guilty by association, because we know that she's friendly with Omid Scobie, we know that Finding Freedom was a hagiography that she was heavily involved in, and it's very clear from the content that was in Endgame that Meghan has given information, indirectly no doubt, through friends with permission, but Omid has got information from either herself or Harry. So Meghan has absolutely blown up any chance, really, of this talent agency trying to get her work, because people love the Princess of Wales and they also like the King, and everyone is sick of their constant attacks. And this is still being blown up as racism, and everybody knows inquiring what a baby might look like when she wasn't even pregnant. Oh, I wonder what your kids might look like. Bearing in mind she's biracial, he's pale and ginger. It's nothing to do with racism. So I just really can't see that William Morris Endeavour are going to hang on to her for a client for much longer. She's so self-destructive and toxic. And as for these car park pap strolls, I mean, that is just embarrassing. She must be their only client at William Morris Endeavour that does this, because the majority of people that they actually have on their books are talented, whereas Meghan is just setting up these pap strolls that I've never seen even reality TV stars set up this number of fake embarrassing stunts. So I really wouldn't be surprised if we do find out that they have quietly let her go. Now, while we're talking about photographs, this is the perfect time to bring up, recently we saw Princess Eugenie with her mother, the Duchess of York, Fergie, and Princess Beatrice. They were attending a very big night for Princess Eugenie and her friend Julia de Boinville, who they both co-founded and set up the anti-slavery charity a couple of years ago. She had her first ever gala. Needless to say, the York sisters and their mother, they can certainly attract the big names and the big celebrities. But the reason why I'm talking about it is because how beautiful this photograph of all three of them are. I really, really like this. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And Princess Beatrice, she is just glowing at the moment. There was a couple of photographs with her husband Edo, and I'm sorry, they are one of the cutest couples in the royal family. Further backed up by some more photographs of another event that Princess Beatrice and Edo attended. And that was when they went to the premiere of One Brit Wonder at the Picture House in London, which is the premiere of James Blunt's new film. The whole family, the Yorks, are friends with James Blunt and his wife. He's done a documentary, seems to be very popular at the moment with celebrities to do with his life. And I've got to say, look how happy they are. People were really, really unsure of Edo in the beginning, and I just think these two look so loved up. I've always thought that those two make a really lovely couple, and as I said, Beatrice is just glowing with happiness. They both are, really. Now, while we're talking about royal couples, non-working royal couples, let's talk about another funny, entertaining, and really likeable couple, and that is, of course, Zara and Mike Tindall. Zara is Princess Anne's daughter, and she and her husband just look like they are a bag of fun. They are always mucking around, even at Royal Ascot. Mike makes me laugh, he's always got that rugby player soul in him, and when he tries on all the different fascinators of Zara, no matter what outfit she's wearing, you can't help but laugh. But the reason why I bring up this couple as well is they have had some new photographs released where they made an appearance for Australia's Women's Meghan's weekly Christmas issue. They look like, as I said, so much fun, but they are clearly best friends as well. They're always, as I said, they're always playful, mucking around. They've got a beautiful family. They've got 3 children now, 2 daughters and a little boy, and they just couldn't be happier. Mike and Zara go to Australia every year and are looking forward to the Star Gold Coast Magic Millions Carnival, say that fast 5 times, where Zara has been an ambassador for the last 12 years. The love and the fun that just radiates between this couple, you can see why so many people actually really like them, and there are quite a few people that would like to see them take on some sort of royal sporting patronages, because obviously Mike being an ex-England rugby player and Zara being an Olympic winning equestrian as well, I think that they would be perfect. We saw photographs a long time ago of them at the Invictus Games with Prince Harry, and you know, if the Invictus Games wants to get some new people in there, some new faces, then I think that those two would definitely help dig it out of the rut that it's in, which has brought up another story briefly, and that is Harry has now employed someone that worked for the Prince and Princess of Wales that originally set up the Invictus Games. So Harry has had to get someone that helped set up the games when it was him and his brother running it, to try and salvage this Canadian Whistler event that, since 2 executives have left and they seem to be in financial troubles, they are trying to basically get it out of the rut in time for 2025. But how long can it go on without people truly asking how much the Invictus Games shells out every year to pay for Harry and his wife? So let's move on to some festive cheer. I will warn you, you might need your hankies. I did. It's beautiful, but very, very emotional at the same time. And that is Queen Camilla. She has hosted her annual tradition of hanging decorations on the Christmas tree at Clarence House, and she has some incredibly special guests. The children attending are from Helen Douglas House Hospice and Roald Dahl's Marvellous Children's Charity. The children and their parents are greeted with wonderful Christmas carols being played this year by the band and bugles of the Rifles. They were treated to lunch of sausages and mash and got involved with lots of different festivities, but more importantly, they were there to pick out what they wanted to hang on the Christmas tree. The Queen lays out a beautiful table of all of the different things the children can pick, and with the help of her rather dashing equerry, Captain Ollie Blunkett, and his sword, now behave yourself, the children are helped to hang the ornaments on the tree. The children absolutely love it. They were incredibly affectionate with the Queen, which for me, that tells me she gives off incredibly good vibes. Children and animals pick up on stuff like this, and the children look so incredibly happy. What an amazing special experience. And the Queen, of course, invited Father Christmas and 2 of his reindeer, and the children were really excited to be out there feeding them treats as gifts and presents were handed out. So this is a really lovely tradition of the Queen. As I said, I know some of you, like me, I'm trying not to cry. It's a very emotional thing, isn't it? But it's absolutely beautiful. You know, all of these children and their family, and as the Queen said herself, you don't realise how lucky that you are, and the fact that they never ever complain. And when you put that into perspective to Harry and Meghan, it makes you want to give them a really hard slap of reality. They are so privileged. They've got so much money. They have got an amazing luxury life that people could only dream of. But more importantly, they've got 2 healthy children, and they seem to be grateful or thankful for nothing. It's very obvious that Harry doesn't have the emotional brain capacity to see anything past his own nose, which seems to be getting bigger every single day, just like his wife. Harry has now declared in his security court case that he and his wife were forced to step back and leave the country. That the UK is Harry's home. The UK is central to the heritage of his children, and a place he wants them to feel at home just as much as they do in the United States. There is no possibility, if he's denied security, to keep them safe, and he can't put his wife in danger, and he also doesn't want to put himself in danger. Honestly, I read those statements that Harry's team have released, and I near enough spat my tea out through my nose. Harry and Meghan had been plotting to leave the royal family for a very long time. A lot of people have speculated it was even before the wedding. It was a smash and grab, a cash and carry job. Meghan and Harry convinced the royal family that they wanted to be working royals, knowing all the while that they were always going to leave and chase a life of celebrity whilst merching the titles. That's why Meghan was going to hit the ground running. That's why they caused problems from the very moment that that woman arrived and joined that family. She needed to cut him off from all of his friends, all of his family, to make the heist easier for her. We know that Harry and Meghan tried to set up another streaming service, which was, I think, 6 months before the wedding or 6 months after the wedding. That's now actually gone under because, well, there's the Markle curse, for example. But the Oprah, the Me You Can't See, the Queen signed off on that. Do you know why the Queen signed off on that? Well, that was because Harry lied to the Queen and told her it was going to be about veterans and veterans' mental health. As we know, that was not true. So he'd obviously wrangled that deal with Oprah at the time. So, of course, they had planned the other Oprah interview. I think that they were just waiting until that year's trial was up. Remember, the Queen gave them a year to change their minds, and they didn't. And it was only after that they then quit and the Queen said, I am not playing around here. You are not going to have your cake and eat it. You lose everything. I've warned you. I've given you a year. I tried to convince you to come back. You don't want to. You're losing your military patronages. You're losing your charities. You're losing everything. And then voila, we then have the stories that no one had heard of before on Oprah. Oprah was nothing more than a tantrum, revenge. That's why Meghan and Harry's friends that leak like a southern water pipe, they have never come out and said about Meghan was suicidal. Do you not think that information would have been used for manipulation a long time beforehand? That would have made Megxit a lot cleaner, wouldn't it? But they didn't, because they were trying to call the Queen's bluff to see what they could get. The Netflix docuseries showed that they started filming footage in preparation long before Megxit, and they'd already set up lots of deals behind the scenes. Whilst, again, they had lied to the royal family and said that Meghan couldn't cope. This was their last engagement that they did, which was Remembrance Sunday, Meghan smirking because she knew. And they went to Canada, stayed in a multi-millionaire's mansion with their son, and they used that time to line up their ducks. Whilst they were saying that Meghan's just a young mum, they're a newly wedded couple, she needs a break from all of the holidays and the brief amount of work that she did from maternity leave and then actually coming back to work, which she didn't really do. She did 72 engagements over the course of 2 years. Meghan made a swipe about how she wouldn't take maternity leave because American women don't. And it's true, I know it's not. You only get like 6 weeks, I think, in some companies. But she took plenty of time off, so she used that to take another swipe at Catherine, because that's all Meghan does. The biggest problem with Harry saying that he was forced to leave, because he's trying to imply that he had no other choice. We have got a clip, and I'm going to play it to you now. Listen to all of the different versions of events from Harry.
How you were trapped.
Trapped within the system, like the rest of my family are. My father and my brother, they are trapped. They don't get to leave. You know, home for me now is you know, for the time being, it's in the States. And it feels that way as well.
So you feel like that's home more for you?
Yeah. Which is, we were forced to leave. We left in 2020. We moved out, we fled my home country. We moved to California.
So it starts with he's free, his family are trapped, he finally found freedom, okay? And then we've got the fact that we know that Harry doesn't like England very much. Then we've got Harry at the end saying that he had to flee for his family's lives. Has he watched the news in the last couple of years? There are people that are fleeing war-torn countries that are escaping with their lives, and he's talking like there was some big coup and he just had to get his wife and his child out. There was no imminent threat. They decided that they were going to cash in on the royal family and the titles and go set up their own royal court in America, but the Queen shut that down. Their own personal message on their website, Sussex Royal, when they railroaded the royal family with just 10 minutes notice and said that they were quitting, said that they were carving out their own progressive role as part of the institution. We have chosen to. They fully support the Queen. They are going to raise Archie with appreciation of the royal traditions that he was born into, and they would continue to collaborate, listen, with Her Majesty, with the then Prince of Wales, and the Duke of Cambridge. They're going to still collaborate with them. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that they near enough killed Meghan, that they were racist to their unborn children. Harry and Meghan wanted half in and half out, i.e. they wanted a fully taxpayer-funded, fully funded by the Crown. They wanted everything for free whilst pursuing their own commercial deals, selling the titles. They wanted to keep their internationally protected person status, which isn't just security in the UK, that is any country they visit, whether they are on holiday, whether they are there for business deals, whether they were there for a Netflix meeting, or if they were there for any sort of royal event, they would have your government, your taxpayers' money, pay for the top tier security like they are dignitaries. And we know that Meghan loves a good old motorcade like she's the First Lady. There was not a whiff in their demands when this all happened of their mistreatment, the racism, all of the stories that we've heard. Their friends never leaked any such stories. They took that year's trial of the Queen and they were pushing her to say she's going to give in, she's going to give in. Well, she didn't, did she? She shut down their demands. She allowed them to keep the royal residence, which was Frogmore, because that was a wedding gift. But obviously at the time, she didn't know what they were going to do on Oprah. She stripped Harry of his military positions. They lost their royal patronages. They lost the Commonwealth Trust. And then that's when they decided to wage this race-baiting war on the royal family, and they incited anything from mental health to race to funds to money to Princess Diana to using the child for manipulation. They pulled every single emotional manipulation that they had to hand out of that hat, and Oprah lapped up every second of it. The UK is now apparently central to his children's heritage. No, Harry, their family are central to their heritage. You've got all of the Raglans. Well, they've allowed the children to have Doria, but all of the aunties, the uncles, the cousins, the second cousins, the people that Meghan grew up with, they're cut off. The Markles, well, we know they're all cut off. All of the Mountbatten Windsors. You know, Harry has cut those children off from absolutely everyone. And he's now saying that the UK, the country that he's openly called racist, bigoted, and now the UK is his true home. It's where he and his children belong. His children are very much isolated American children brought up with no family other than Doria and occasionally Ashley, who is Meghan's niece, who I'm not sure if she just wasn't wheeled out in Netflix footage to put in a good word for her because she'd cut off everyone else in her life. And as for Harry saying he doesn't want to put his or his wife's life in danger, well, he's happy to increase the security threat on his own family. It beggars belief. Bear in mind that when Meghan came to the UK for the Jubilee, she wound down that bulletproof window. Harry doesn't look too happy about it, but Meghan, she wound it down to make sure that the paparazzi could get her photographs. She stood by the window pretending that she was interacting with the children. Oh, look, it's fun Auntie Meghan. No, she was just using other people's children to get her face in the newspapers. What about all of the pap strolls that Meghan does? She's walking around America where anyone can own a gun. She's got no problems with her safety there, but we're expected to believe that the UK has suddenly become the OK Corral. I mean, you can barely leave your house because saloon chairs might come flying past your face. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. But yet again, I will say the biggest undoing of Harry and Meghan and their constantly changing version of events is their love of selling every single detail. We've had interviews from the very beginning. We've had interviews of Harry from when he was the old Harry, pre-Meghan. We've had documentaries, we've had magazine interviews, we've had podcasts, we've had Oprah. We've had so many different versions of their truth, and it's backfiring on them. Every time that they tell a different story, whether it's through a hagiography, an interview, a book, it shows one thing. They have an unbelievable inability to keep up with their own stories. Recollections vary again and again and again. It's truly remarkable that these two think that everyone else is going to fall for their BS. Now, as for the court case, it has now ended. The judge is going to take it all away to process it and to make a decision. Harry and Meghan are reportedly not even going to come to the UK if they do win. All I can say is, thank you very much. That's an early Christmas present. Now, speaking of Christmas, tonight is the evening that they film together at Christmas. It's going to be super exciting. I will be taking screenshots of stuff, but it will be aired on Christmas Eve for everybody to watch. And I will obviously be posting details of how you can watch it closer to the time. As for me, I'm super excited. I'm meeting up with my friend Amber and I'm going to London tomorrow, where we are going to be taking in a lot of the festive sights. So I will, of course, be taking lots of photographs that I will also be sharing with you when I see you next. So have a wonderful weekend, guys. Take care and Merry Christmas. Bye.